What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ready Gold Standard podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, Matt Llewellyn. Matt, how you doing tonight?
That was a tough one, man. I want to wish everybody who's joining us right now a Merry Christmas. I want to wish Jimmy Garoppolo a bah humbug. He continues to be a lump of coal in the stocking of this 49ers season, and I'm tired of it. So with that being said, until next time, go Niners. Just kidding, guys. We're not leaving you just yet. It's just that was an ugly, ugly loss. Jimmy Garoppolo's got to go, plain and simple. He was the primary factor of why the 49ers lost. He missed a wide open Kyle Juszczyk. He had 4 or 5 passes that should have been intercepted. 2 of them were. More of them should have been. Dylan, thank you for at least showing up. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't. Thank you to everybody who, man, this just goes to show. I mean, are you telling me that Trey Lance couldn't do just what Jimmy Garoppolo did?
Yeah.
And I know that all of his fans are going to look at the box score. Oh, he's 26 of 35. He was 322. He led a fourth quarter tying drive. They never should have been there in the first place. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What do you think, Zach?
It was atrocious. I'm trying to debate in my head, was this worse than the Indianapolis game? Because the Indianapolis game, you at least had the monsoon to blame for it. They were playing out there, even though Carson Wentz had no problem pushing the ball down the field.
Oh, this was way worse.
This
third quarter was the worst quarter of football the 49ers have played this season.
You go into half with a 10-point lead, and it should have been 21, if not 17 points, but whatever. Fine, it's a 10-point lead. Within, 5 minutes, it's evaporated. The 49ers are now tied at 10-10. Jimmy Garoppolo, the first interception he threw in the end zone, zero excuse for that throw. George Kittle was blanketed the whole time. The entire time. There was not a single millisecond where any logical quarterback could see him and say, oh, that's an open target in the end zone. Let me toss that. And it was first and goal. Why are you pushing that hard? Live to play another snap. Instead, Jimmy tosses it for a turnover. That's 7 points off the board, at the very worst 3. They lost by 3.
Well, here's the thing, though. I don't necessarily blame Kyle for the play calling. Jimmy should have never thrown that ball.
No, he shouldn't.
Never.
No.
I mean, what is he looking at there?
Yeah, it was very, very ugly. And Matt, I want to ask you, why did they get away from George Kittle in the second half? I mean, Debo was beasting, don't get me wrong, but it seemed like he didn't get any looks at all.
I think Byard is better than people. I'm interested to see the all-22. I'm willing to bet that Byard played a huge role in that because Byard's a very good safety. I think it was just level of competition, you don't and they used him on one of the third down sacks. They were blocking George Kittle. So, yeah. But I mean, honestly, this is Jimmy, dude. This is Jimmy. This is what you get.
Yeah.
And it used to be that he would do it drive to drive, series to series. Now it seems like he does it game to game. Yep. Where, I mean, we talked about it on the previous show. He's never gone 3 straight games without throwing a pick. No. And the 49ers are now 1-7 when Jimmy Garoppolo throws an interception in a game this year.
Yep.
So you're talking about 10. I mean, the first 2, and it's so funny because the first 2 drives, Jimmy was immaculate.
He was the only incompletion he had was the interception. He was 8 for 8 at one point.
Steve says Whitner actually blamed the first interception on Kittle. Basically, Whitner's got CTE. So I mean, no disrespect. I mean, honestly, that's a joke. But Dante Whitner, that take is terrible.
It's a bad take. Anthony says Jimmy G, more like Jimmy peed his panda. Am I right? It was atrocious. And going to your earlier point, Matt, I tweeted out about an hour ago. It would be terrible if Trey Lance came in and made rookie mistakes like throwing interceptions in the end zone or right to defenders, missing wide open receivers for touchdowns, and missing open receivers on 4th downs. That would be absolutely terrible, and I don't think the 49ers could overcome that. But that's exactly what they're getting with Jimmy. Yeah. So if your argument is
8 years in,
is going to hold the offense back because of these rookie mistakes, Jimmy is doing that right now. 8-year vet, 3rd or 4th year starter. I don't even remember. I think 3rd year starter with the Niners. There is
Right.
absolutely zero excuses for the way he's played. And I would have benched him midway through the third quarter. I don't see why Kyle can't. You were telling me right now before we went on, he basically gave him a pass for his interceptions, right?
Yeah, he said it's not just on him, it's on everybody, and that to me is garbage. Jimmy was the one who pulled the trigger. Jimmy was the one who let, and this was a dropped interception, but Jimmy was the one who let Evans sucker him and lullaby him into throwing that ball across the middle of the field where Evans knew exactly where it was supposed to go. And if you notice in the second half, the adjustment the Titans made was they took away the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And so the 49ers couldn't move the ball.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. You talk about Trey Lance, making these rookie mistakes. Here's the thing that Lance brings that Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't. The fact that more than once, Jimmy Garoppolo took a sack where Trey Lance would have been able to pick up yardage.
Yeah, he just stands there. He just stands there. You know immediately when he's about to take a sack. He just pats the ball, looks around, kind of frantically steps, and then just goes down. It's so frustrating because you see it happening. The 49ers basically only have themselves to blame. Jimmy Garoppolo specifically, but there were a ton of players that
Jimmy was 90% of it. Honestly.
Yeah, Jimmy was 90%. A bunch of false start penalties. The defense was way too soft. They couldn't get off the field to save their lives.
But I think all of those are a reaction to Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo made a ton of mistakes. Now the rest of the team feels like, okay, we got to pick him up. It's not here for Jimmy today. We got to pick him up. Then all of a sudden they're pressing. They're making mistakes.
Yeah.
Norman and Thomas were not great in coverage in the second half. They were really bad in coverage, actually, and they let A.J. Brown feast.
Yeah.
And, that wouldn't have been as bad had Jimmy Garoppolo not, completely shit the bed in the first half.
Yeah.
He had Juszczyk wide open for a touchdown after he had already thrown a red zone pick. It should have been 21-0.
Yep.
Instead, they go into halftime 10-0, come out completely flat in the third quarter because Tennessee made great adjustments, and they end up getting outscored in the second half 20-7. Just inexcusable.
Yeah.
And it primarily stems from Jimmy Garoppolo playing like shit.
The missed throw to Juice was one of the worst I think I've ever seen. He was wide open, walk-in touchdown. And not only was it not a touchdown, it wasn't even a completion. He threw it completely over his head.
Yep.
There's absolutely zero excuse from that. If you're paying Jimmy Garoppolo 26, whatever amount of money
he
he's
wasn't
making
even under
this year,
pressure.
No, somebody tweeted me at that. Before I could reply, they deleted their tweet. They said, "Oh, you're taking this out of context. You missed that. The pressure forced him in to throw it, kind of erratically." And I took screenshots. I'm like, he was a completely clean pocket. Stepped into it and everything. There's absolutely zero excuse for that. Yeah, Steve says, why is Jimmy afraid to throw the ball away? That's also something
I've almost never seen him do it.
No, he just hangs on to it, or he'll throw an interception.